The fear of taking action. It's that feeling where you know exactly what you should do, but you just can't bring yourself to do it. Like your brain's yelling, go, but your body's like, nah, let's scroll Instagram for 4 more hours. It's not laziness. It's what I like to call analysis paralysis. Analysis paralysis is characterized by overthinking or overanalyzing a situation to the point where forward motion is stalled. The focus shifts from executing a task to endlessly evaluating and reevaluating options, data, and potential outcomes. The real battle isn't outside, it's in your head. You've built an invisible wall of what ifs and not yets, and it feels real, but it's actually made of thoughts. You built the wall, which means you can take it down. You don't need a hammer. You just need one bold move, one tiny action, because once you do that thing you've been avoiding, fear starts to shrink. And you realize the scariest part wasn't the action itself. It was the waiting. You are not a procrastinator, and you are not broken. The real enemy isn't your to-do list. It's the giant, intimidating story you've built up around that list. The fear of taking action is actually a sophisticated psychological trap designed to keep you safe from failure, judgment, or even success. We spend more energy avoiding the task than it would take to actually finish it. You know that feeling when you're stuck? You're not actually broken or lazy, you're just listening to a very confused internal alarm system. Here are the 3 main reasons we freeze up. Number 1, the quest for the perfect unicorn. You think your first attempt has to be a masterpiece. You're waiting for the perfect time, the perfect plan, or the perfect strategy. But guess what? That perfect unicorn doesn't exist. You spend all your time over-planning and zero time doing, because starting imperfectly feels like a failure. The wrong choice terror. We live in the land of infinite options. If you choose path A, you miss out on paths B, C, and D. You're so terrified of making the wrong decision and wasting time that you make the biggest wrong choice of all, choosing nothing. Zero action is the only true wasted time. The mountain view. You look at the massive end goal, like write a book, launch a business, learn a language, and it looks like Mount Everest. The sheer size of the mountain makes the first baby step seem pointless, so you just decide to stay home on the couch instead. All that freezing isn't a flaw in your character, it's a feature programmed by your past. Your so-called laziness is just chilling on the sidelines. The real culprit is your past environment, the expectations, criticisms, and pressures you grew up with. Believe it or not, the way you take action or avoid it has a lot to do with the environment you grew up in, your family, friends, school, and even the culture around you. If you grew up in a stressful or chaotic environment where everything felt like a competition or constant pressure, your brain learned one thing: survival first, action later. You might find yourself always second-guessing, overthinking, or freezing before making a move. Why? Because back then, taking action might have led to conflict, criticism, or failure, and your mind is still protecting you from that. Let me tell you why your past shapes your fear. When perfection was the standard. Maybe your parents, teachers, or friends expected you to always be the best, top of the class, perfect grades, never make mistakes. If that sounds familiar, you probably learned that being good enough wasn't good enough. Now, when you try something new, your brain panics if it's not perfect right away. You hesitate to take action because deep down you think, if I can't do it perfectly, I will wait till it is perfect. When you fear making the wrong choice. If your environment was full of judgment, constant nagging, or harsh criticism, you probably learned to associate mistakes with shame. You might have heard things like, "Why did you do that? You should have known better. That's not good enough." When you grow up around that, it's no wonder you freeze every time you have to make a decision. Your brain is trained to think that any wrong move equals disappointment or rejection, when results were all that mattered. Maybe you were raised in an environment where being fast and productive mattered more than doing things thoughtfully. If you didn't move quickly enough, people would complain, nag, or make you feel lazy. Now, you might rush into things just to get them done, or feel guilty for slowing down. The problem is, this can make you scared of the process itself. You start to care more about finishing than starting well, and that pressure can freeze you in place. You can't blame your past forever, but you can use this realization to rewrite your story. Your body remembers first, then your mind catches up. The tight feeling you get when you go to start that task, that's your body replaying the stress and criticism from the past. It's time to ask yourself, is this my life I'm living, or am I just following the script written by my past? The goal isn't to take a giant leap. It's to take a series of ridiculously small, totally safe steps that teach your brain action is not pain, action is just action. They say the biggest obstacle isn't the problem itself, but the decision to solve it. Every great opportunity starts with one step. For Lena, her fear was that first step. This is a story about Lena. Lena had a dream. She wanted to start her own small art business. Nothing fancy, just her paintings and a few handmade prints. She'd been saying, "someday," for 2 years. Every time she thought about starting, fear showed up like an overprotective friend. What if no one likes your art? What if you waste your savings? What if people laugh? So Lena stayed in her comfort zone, safe but secretly restless. Then one day she realized something, her someday was starting to feel a lot like never. That thought scared her even more than failing. So she decided to play a little game with fear. Step 1. She started small. Instead of quitting her job or launching a full shop, she gave herself one tiny goal. Post one painting online this week. Just one. No fancy website, no marketing plan. Just a small, doable step. And you know what happened? Nothing exploded. Her brain had no reason to panic, and that small success gave her the courage to take another step. Fear hates small progress because it can't scare you out of it. Step 2. She wrote down every what if. One night she grabbed a notebook and wrote every fear she could think of. What if I fail? What if I look dumb? What if I can't keep up? Then she answered each one honestly. If I fail, I'll learn what doesn't work. If I look dumb, I'll survive. If I can't keep up, I'll slow down, not quit. Writing it out made fear look smaller, like a cartoon villain losing its power once you turn on the lights. Step 3. She celebrated the tiny wins. When she sold her first print, she didn't wait to feel official. She literally danced in her living room with a slice of pizza. Fear rolled its eyes, but confidence grew stronger. Every little win whispered, "See, you can do this." Step 4. She befriended discomfort. When she got nervous before posting her art, she stopped trying to make the fear go away. Instead, she said, "Okay, fear, you can ride along, but you're sitting in the back seat." And then she hit post anyway. The fear didn't disappear, it just lost control of the wheel. Step 5. She focused on her why. Whenever doubt crept in, she reminded herself why she started. Because I feel alive when I create. Because I want to inspire someone else to do the same. That why was louder than her what if, and slowly meaning began to outweigh fear. Step 6. She told someone. She shared her goal with her best friend, not for approval, but for accountability. Every time she hesitated, her friend would text, "Did you post this week?" That gentle nudge helped her keep going, especially on the days fear was extra loud. The ending, that's really just the beginning. Months later, Lena's art page was thriving. Not perfect, not viral, but real. She still felt fear sometimes, but it wasn't in charge anymore, because she learned that courage doesn't show up before action. It shows up after you start moving. So next time fear whispers, "What if you fail?" Smile and say, "Then at least I tried." And that's more than fear ever did. Then take one small, brave step forward. Because once you move, fear starts to fade and life starts to happen.